Yes.
Welcome everyone to the Rotary Club of Greenville as we begin a new Rotary year. We have exciting
is
today. We are welcoming our new president.
Microphone's not yours.
New members of our club, and we have new
Harris Fellows. So a lot for you to enjoy today. Please join me, if you would, in a prayer. Gracious God, as we begin this new Rotary year, reawaken our desire for service. Grant us discernment to perceive the needs in the world around us and strength to put our own hands to the plow. Take from us all hardness of heart and make us servants committed to truth and fairness. May we always choose the harder right over the easier wrong as we seek to build goodwill and better friendships within this club and in the wider world. Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello, good afternoon, welcome. We have three guests here that I would like to introduce that are here with us today. First, I'd like to introduce Michael Bloom. Michael Bloom, who is the guest of Donna Gottschall, right there. Okay, welcome. Thank you. Jennifer Sutton, who is the guest of Amy Randall. Welcome. And then Casey Stevenson, who is the guest of Judith Prince. Now, Casey, now Casey, of course, is our 2015 Service Above Self Scholar, so we certainly wanted to acknowledge him for that. Okay. Welcome to all of you.
Good afternoon, Ryan Thackeray here to present our member news for July 13th. We do not have a sponsor for today's member news, but if you would like to be a free sponsor to member news, or if you have member news, please send me an email. You can find my email in DACDB. Scott Powell, our very own Scott Powell, was recognized as a Rotary hero by Vanessa Irvin, a past district governor from North Carolina, who was the All-Club Conference keynote speaker recently. Scott was recognized for being a bridge to hope for his leadership and work with Alexander Elementary School. Well done, Scott. Clearly, we all think you're a Rotary hero, Scott. Last month, Rotarian John Clark Kent, a broker for Blackstream Christie's International Real Estate, was awarded the CRE, Counselor of Real Estate designation by the Counselors of Real Estate, an international group of high-profile real estate professionals who provide expert advisory services to clients on complex real property and land-related matters. This is a prestigious award, and John said the designation is by far the greatest honor he has received in his career to date. His next goal, you ask? John says after receiving the CRE designation, that his next goal is to achieve the BACABR designation, which he says stands for Be As Cool as Bill Raines Rotary designation. Congrats to John, and John, I'm going to beat you for the BACABR designation. It's on. And we all know Rotarian Amy Randall as a fun, talented, and excellent professional photographer. But did you know her husband, Chris, is also an accomplished artist? Recently, Chris was asked by Haywood Mall to be the featured artist for their local artist spotlight for the months of July and August. Plum, which is a newer store in the mall that sells upscale home decor and gifts, is also carrying some of his work. So Rotarians, go check out some great artwork by a local friend at the display just outside of Belk on the lower level, or even stop by Plum just upstairs next to Pandora and shop around. And I would say after some enforced family time over the last 18 months, we could all probably treat some folks in our house to a nice piece of artwork or even some jewelry at Pandora. So you might want to go ahead and take full advantage of that. And on your way out today, you'll see these cards for Chris Randall Photography. And on the back of the card, you can receive 20% off your first purchase of Chris Randall Photography. And I bet if you wanted to get a headshot as well by Amy Randall, you could probably work out a deal for a little 2-for-1 special. Get some artwork, get your headshot. You'll be starting this new fiscal year off real strong, fellow Rotarians. So go ahead and talk to Amy Randall and go ahead and visit Chris Randall's gallery there at our very own Haywood Mall. And Christine Braswell Amin is at it again on 2 wheels, my friends, after completing the coast-to-coast ride traveling across the country earlier this year. I guess that wasn't enough for her. She recently completed a bike ride from Simpsonville to Charleston just last week to raise money and awareness for Alzheimer's. Well done, Christine. And that is our Rotary member news for July 13th. If you have member news, please send it to me. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your week. Thank you.
It's always an honor to follow Ryan Thackeray with his new man bun. Round of applause for Ryan and his new hairstyle. So thank you. I am Beth Padgett, immediate past district governor, and our new club president, Ramona Farrell, has asked me to do a couple things today. But before I do, I want to first of all say thank you for the club's support last year when I was district governor. You helped make the difference in this being a very successful year, but you also made the difference in this being a highly successful all-club conference. And if I could have everybody who served in any way on the conference committee stand for recognition, let's give them a round of applause because they did the impossible. And I think I see my friends, the Weavers, on Zoom. Without, first of all, Elizabeth Lyons as conference chair, and Terry and Pam Weaver, and without everybody in this club supporting me, especially on the conference committee, it would have been a miserable failure because we did in 4 months of planning what normally takes 12 to 14 months of planning. So, and people who know me know that I was a little bit crazy by the end of that time. But it was an outstanding conference, and I just want to say thank you first for your support last year, but also for supporting the conference. I really appreciate that. So it's my honor, this is my first duty as a past district governor, to first of all, we're going to recognize our new officers and board directors for this club, and then we're going to talk about a subject near to my heart, which is the Rotary Foundation and the Paul Harris Fellow Awards. So as I call your name, will you please stand and be recognized and stay standing until I've called everybody. First of all, your new president, our new president, Ramona Farrell. She needs a round of applause just for herself. Our president-elect, Wade Cole. Jane Dyer, our past president. Lisa Mangione, our secretary, who is also the district treasurer. And Catherine Stoddard, the club treasurer. So if all of you, a round of applause for our board officers. And if y'all would just stay standing, this will be very quick. We're also going to recognize the new board, starting with John Allen, Fatima Ghazala, Teresa Miller, Mike Snively. If y'all will stand as I call your names, don't be bashful. Pam Weaver, Chantel Babb, Christine Braswell Amin, Greg English, Roger Heitzig, Chris Manley, Josh Fowler, and Susie Tumlin. So a round of applause for them. And just while they're standing, just to recognize to our officers and board directors that you've got an extraordinary leadership job ahead of you, but it's also a sign of both the esteem and the confidence that your club has in you, that each of you have been elected to this position of responsibility. So thank you, congratulations, and good luck with the new club year. So now I get to talk about my absolute favorite topic concerning Rotary, which is the Rotary Foundation and Paul Harris Fellows. I am transitioning to a 3-year term as our district foundation, Rotary District Foundation chair, but I'm also working with the Paul Harris Fellows for our own club. The Rotary Foundation is my charity of choice, and it's my favorite way to give back and do good in the world. So, yeah, okay. So when we talk about the Rotary Foundation, it's a bit of a mystery, and Rotary doesn't make it easy to understand sometimes. But the Rotary started, as just about everybody who's a Rotarian knows, in 1905 when Paul Harris and 3 of his friends in Chicago created planted the seed of this great organization. And Rotary was just primarily a way to have fun and fellowship and network and get to know people. And they quickly found that people were not as eager to join without a service component. So 12 years later, in 1917, they started the Rotary Foundation, with the first chair being Arch Klump of the Rotary Foundation. Motto of Rotary is service above self. Motto of the Rotary Foundation is doing good in the world. We serve through Rotary, and through our foundation, it's our way to give and support our ways of doing good in our own communities, but also in our world. Throughout the couple decades that followed, they found that giving was not at the levels they wanted, but also people were not being recognized as giving in some cases very generously to the Rotary Foundation. So something was created in 1957 called the Paul Harris Fellow. This was, first of all, a way to recognize people who had given. And if you've ever worked with fundraising before, it was also a way to encourage and inspire more giving. Recognized by saying thank you, also recognized by creating benchmarks or levels of giving so that people could have a way to strive for something in terms of their giving. And so from there, they went to things like pins and certificates and medallions as a way that Rotarians could show to other people that they supported the Rotary Foundation. So there are several things in terms of how you give and how you're recognized. If you give $100 a year, which is what is recommended for all Rotarians, if you're able, $100 a year makes you a sustaining member of the Rotary Foundation, $100 a year. Our club invoices $25 a quarter, but you can give more, and you can also give through Rotary Direct, which is through a check draft or through your credit card on the Rotary site. So you start off with the basic $100 a year, and again, our club invoices. But what is the Paul Harris Fellow? That is when you have either given yourself, or someone has given in your honor, or you have done a match with a gift of cash and matching points, and it recognizes that you have given at the level, or being recognized at the level of $1,000 contribution over your entire Rotary life at that point. You can also make people who are not Rotarians a Paul Harris Fellow. So it's a good way to give, and it's a good way to recognize. There's also something else called the Paul Harris Society, which is if you pledge to give $1,000 a year, $1,000 a year, you are a member of the Paul Harris Society. If something happens in your life and you have to drop out, you can drop out. But it's a way to just encourage greater gifts of giving. So some numbers is that we have last year 150 people who gave at the sustaining member level. 150 people in our club gave at sustaining member level. We had right at 200 people who gave something in our club to the Rotary Foundation. And some of that were because of the invoicing, people come in halfway during the year and they only give 2 $25 increments instead of 4. We also have 8 major donors. What's a major donor? That's a lifetime contribution of at least $10,000. And that has to be a cash contribution, not all at one time, but a cash contribution of $10,000. And then there are different levels of major donors. So we have 8 major donors in the club. I'm one. It took me, and I said this when I made major donor and Judy Prince's year as club president, it took me 22 years of my Rotary career to make major donor. So it's something that some people can aspire to. Not everybody has to, but it's something you can put for a goal out there. And we have 10 members of the Paul Harris Society in our club. And so those are ways to be recognized. When you look at our club, we are a strong supporter of the Rotary Foundation. We have given almost $1.3 million collectively over the history of our club. Now, a little bit of that, not to take away from what I just said, we're the oldest Rotary club in the state. We're also the largest. So a combination of age and size, a little bit of that makes sense. But also, we give at an extraordinarily high level in this club. And we, in the year that had just ended, we gave almost $56,000 collectively in this Rotary Club. So that's about numbers. That's about how you're recognized and all like that. But the most important thing, going back to what I said about it's our way as Rotarians to do good in the world, that is the most important thing. The motto for this year in Rotary is serve to change lives. We change lives through our gifts through the Rotary Foundation. We also save lives through our gifts in the Rotary Foundation. In our own club, we have been a major supporter of the project in Haiti, where we started out helping grow food. And now we're doing a goat breeding farm. We do vocational training. We participate every year in one of the water projects in Honduras. Through those gifts, we are changing lives. And in Honduras, there are children in villages who would not be there today if we had not brought clean water to their villages. So on behalf of Rotary International, the Rotary Foundation, but also on behalf of this club that I love, thank you so much for supporting the Rotary Foundation. Thank you for your gifts. Look forward to more gifts this year, but thank you for what you've done in the past. And thank you for changing lives through your service. So now, I have to put my glasses on for this one. We are going to recognize people who have achieved a level of giving with Paul Harris, the Paul Harris Fellow. And if you give the second 2,000 or given in your name, you get a Paul Harris +1, third, Paul Harris +2, up to Paul Harris +8, and then you make major donor after that. So I'm going to first recognize people who gave last year, and because of COVID and not meeting in person sometimes and things like that, they got their pins unceremoniously through the mail in most cases. So they need to be recognized, and it's just my pleasure to recognize them at this meeting. So if you'll just stand if you're here, or wave if you want to switch back to the Zoom. Wave if you are on Zoom. I'm going to call the names of people who were recognized by getting something in the mail last year as making Paul Harris Fellow, starting with Charlie Hall, Gary Lyons, Chris Manley, Brady Patterson, Dale Stewart, Ramona Farrell, Skip Gordon. Charlie Hall did it twice. He was Paul Harris Fellow and then Paul Harris +1. Charles Mickle, Harold Ligon, David Slade, Ramona Farrell again, Jimmy Kimball, Connie Lansell, Coleman Schaus, Delisa English, Harold Gallivan, Elizabeth Lyons, Bob Mann, Stan Reed, Chuck Welch, Charles Little, Dave Carfelite, Bert Strange, and Rude Veltman. So if you didn't stand, that's okay. Thank you for your gift, and thank you for being a Paul Harris Fellow, or in some cases, +1, 2, 3. So now I'm going to recognize our newest Paul Harris Fellows, and I'm going to ask them to come up and receive in one case, is Stanton Horn here? Okay, I don't see Stanton. Stanton is being recognized for his first Paul Harris Fellow. The second one, I don't know if you can leave your duties. Kristen Braswell Amin is +1. I think she's tied up. No, she's coming up. She's coming up. Thank you. And just stay up here. Just stay up. Lisa Mangione, +1. Ron DeMonet, +2. Bev James, +2. Connie Lanzel, +3. Scott Powell, +3. Connie Lanzel, +4. And Charles Little, +6. And as you're coming up, I just want to remind you that, that your gifts each and every year have helped provide vocational training, food to feed the hungry, medicine for preventing diseases, helped in some cases with our polio vaccination effort, and in many, many other things. So thank you. Now, at the risk of inviting total chaos on President Ramona's first club visit, club as president, I'm going to ask everybody who has gotten a recent Paul Harris Fellow Award to come up for a group picture, if you're able. If you want to. You don't have to, but if you want to. Anybody who wants to join? For the names I called at the beginning. Or I will add anybody who plans to join like today. You can give me a check today and we will make you a Paul Harris Fellow. So the best photographer in the world, Amy Randall, is going to snap these photos. Y'all smile. Amy always has to remind me to smile too when she takes my photo. So thank y'all very much. Look forward to working with you with the Rotary Foundation this year.
Could I ask people to come up here with me? Marty Elliott, Michael Evans, and Andrea Capes, please. There they are. Right. So my fellow Rotarians, you people make me nervous. I don't know what it is about you guys. I didn't think. We all know that recruiting and attracting quality people is the absolute lifeblood in any organization, particularly ours. And that is precisely why it is my distinct honor to be able to present these 3 new members with their red pins today, something new that our club is doing. I've had the opportunity to chat offline with all of them and feeling very good about the future of this club. And as an aside, I will admit that I was having doubts about this club after you guys let me in 5 years ago. But it's good now, I think. But okay, before I get started, I will mention that 2 out of the 3 here asked me to keep their introductions very brief. 1 out of the 3 was happy for it to go about an hour or so. But Ramona told me to keep this going. So Michael, I apologize for shorting you here on this. So come over here for a second, Mike. Michael Evans. Michael is sponsored by Jane and comes to us from the Palm Desert Club in Palm Springs most recently, where he was on the board of directors and a Paul Harris Fellow, to dovetail with what Beth was saying. Now, interestingly, Michael here was also president-elect in both his San Diego-based club and his Las Vegas one, Lake Havasu, right? I think we all know the old adage about there being only 2 ways to get out of being president once you're tabbed with that moniker president-elect. And one of them does have to do with moving away, which Michael did twice, but now he's here in Greenville, South Carolina, right back in a Rotary Club. And so hopefully the third time will be the charm for you, Michael, I think. Okay, so some quick things here. Michael and his wife actually found their way to Greenville through some care.
And again, same discussion. She's looking to expand her network. Also has that service of self mindset. And I mentioned Rotary. And so she said, okay, I'll have to research that a little bit more and see what I think. So I let it sit about a week. And I sent her an email and said, so in our discussion, you mentioned about potentially being involved with the board. Well, on August 24th, we're going to have our theme be focused on the nonprofits, our membership in our club. And they're going to have the opportunity to share their needs, whether it be an event and they need volunteers, or they have vacancies on a board, or they just want you to understand their mission. So now she's coming to that meeting because that will give her exposure to some of the nonprofits in our community. And then she said, and yes, I'd like to sign up for the Discover Rotary too. But it was just through having a conversation and actually listening to the cues that she was giving me that, again, I felt like she'd be a really good fit for our club. So I encourage you and ask you to please think in that nature. So what are we doing? So with our membership, potential members, Beth, thank you so much for speaking about Paul Harris Fellow, Rotary Foundation. I myself, I hear it, but I still feel uneducated. So I think we need those reminders. But with that, Rotary Foundation, we have over 128,000 points, if I recall correctly. And those are points that are available to us. In May, I had just a general membership meeting. Some really good things came out of that. Philip Kilgore, not to put anybody on the spot, but sent me a follow-up email and he said, hey, you know what? In the past, he's past president, he said, we used to award points for anyone who brought a new member into our club. So if you brought in a 1 member, you'd get 100 points, 2 members, 200 points. And so why can't we do that again? So that is something we're going to start to initiate. So as you're thinking about your participation in Paul Harris Fellow and how to help you get to that next level, consider that an opportunity. The other thing we're going to do is have a monthly gift card drawing. So there's a poll out there. If you bring a potential new member, so not a guest, but really a potential new member to the club, you're invited to put your name or your business card in this bowl. And at the end of the month for the 2 meetings, we'll have a drawing. This next meeting, the drawing will be a $25 Amazon gift card. And we're going to rotate out, so it won't always be the same gift card. But there's something else, whether you use it for yourself, give it to a family, you'll have that availability. We had health and happiness, which has stayed on the side. Went to lunch with Susie Tumblin last week or earlier this week, and she has graciously agreed to start that up again and is actually eager to. And had some great relationships with businesses in our community that would host our events, right? Have the beverages and the appetizers. So that you can see will be launching in September. Another thing, we've had the networking at noon, been brainstorming with Josh. And I don't know if anybody's familiar with Upstate SC Alliance, but for their investor members, what they've done is actually create a roundtable environment. So Josh and I have been brainstorming on, is this something we can do for our club to enhance mentorship? We've had a lot of young professionals joining us and who have said, I'm part of it is because I need mentorship. And I was hoping to have that connection. You have so many, right, experienced business individuals in your club. I want to take advantage of that. It's also about just giving us a time again to get to know each other better. So if this works, Josh, I'm looking at you. So we're going to still to be rolled out, but there'll be a fall and spring program, perhaps a survey to see the level of interest, small cluster groups created. You might meet once a month. You'll be autonomous. You decide the date, the time. For SC Alliance, we would rotate to different people's offices. That person would have the advantage of being able to highlight and profile their business and then just create some good discussion, usually about an hour-long meeting. So if that works out, we'll be rolling that out, but again, still in the early brainstorming stages. And with that, it was suggested that could there be a retiree group as part of that? Elizabeth, thank you for that. And so we hope to include that as well. Again, but it's based on your level of interest. We're only going to do what you want us to do and what we know we can do well for you. So we'll have that as well. So now to my form, the who do you know? I just need 4 or 5 volunteers to help me hand out one piece of paper. So one person, a paper for each person at a table. Okay, so I went to lunch with Terry Weaver a while ago, also, right, past, present, very involved in our club. Okay. And he shared with me this form that Rotary used to use, and it's called Who Do You Know? And so this form is just a way of you to think about, again, who would you want to have sitting at this table having lunch with you? Who would you want to be sharing a community event with? And we're also actively already using this in our new member orientation. And I was told last month when we rolled it out to that group that it, like, no hesitation, right? They could just come up with people that, oh, wow, yeah, I'd love to have so-and-so be here with me. And then if you are stuck, on the back is a list of different professions that you might consider where you know someone, you have an acquaintance, an affiliate. So this is the request. Please take a moment, fill out the top with your own name, contact information, and then list up to 5 people. I think it's what I've left space for. That again, you would like to reach out. The expectation is that you'd pick up the phone, you'd call that friend and invite them to a lunch meeting, right? Invite them to come to Discover Rotary. So just take a moment, right? Think about that. Just one name. The way we're going to grow is through expansion, right? Through sharing our club with others. And people who are on Zoom, I haven't forgotten you. So if you want to send an email, you can send it in to Michelle, will be fine. Just indicating, right, here's a person, their phone number, their email. This is the person I plan to reach out to and invite to a meeting. I'll also share that we are having district-wide, there is going to be a membership summit. 2 dates are being offered, August 7th, August 14th. It's an all-day training. The cost is $15. Specifically, anybody involved in membership, interested in how do we enhance the value for our existing members, how do we encourage others to come, right, join our Rotary Club, come be involved in the community. So that's that 7th and 14th. We can get you the link for that if that's something you're interested in. So again, shoot an email to Michelle and then we'll get to you that as well. So if you're thinking of inviting someone to the next meeting, Scott Baer is the chair of Clemson's economics department. So he's going to be our speaker. So that might be an opportunity to invite someone. And I just wanted to share one other thing we're doing. It's mostly, again, through your donations. So on the invoice, we had added a optional Rotary Charities donation of $50. I want to say thank you. We may be on this count, but when I last checked with Michelle about a week, 2 weeks ago, we had over $5,000 donated to this general fund. And then this is an example of how this could be used. So we have done such excellent work in our partnership with Alexander Elementary that we were connected again with the school district. And then they asked us to reach out and to meet with Welcome Elementary. It's another Title I school. They have approximately 650 students, 100 staff. 100% of their students receive free meals because they all hit that low income level and they have needs. They do a good job of taking care of their students. But what was interesting is they said the majority of their students have never stepped foot in downtown Greenville. So they hear about Greenville, they live in Greenville, but they've never seen Greenville. And so this idea came up is we'd love to bring Greenville into our city and have some murals painted on our walls. So my daughter's an artist. She went to a performing arts university in Philadelphia. She has a friend who actually went there as well, graduated, returned to Greenville. She works with the Peace Center, International Ballet. She's a painter, she's a photographer. And so she and I had a conversation last night and she said, I'd love to work on this project. And again, a young professional. So she's going to meet with me and the principal next week. And we're going to look at the walls and talk about the possibilities. From our club, if this is approved and if our board agrees, We will provide the supplies and materials, but the artists are all donating their time. And again, they were excited to give back and to partner with us. And so I'm pretty excited about this. So my ask is, I'm having the meetings, have the connections, but I'm sure we have other artists in the room. Or if there's some people who say, hey, I'd actually like to take the lead or work on that project, please step up, reach out to me. I'm happy to step aside, provide the support, and let those more experienced actually make it happen. But again, without that additional donation to charities, without your generosity, we wouldn't be having that type of conversation with Welcome Elementary. And then there are other things they've asked that are non-monetary, mentoring. They have a Focus Friday where they just ask for professionals to come in, talk about their careers, try to inspire students to see the potential that might reside in themselves or pique their interest. So there's a lot of good things happening. But again, it all started with our work with Alexander Elementary. So I thank all those who have done that and actively participated. So with that, I think I'm about wrapped up. If I could ask those same people who handed out the papers to just go around and collect them, I'd appreciate that. And again, I hope you at least put one person's name down. Again, we can't do it without everybody's help. And once we have those gathered, then we'll do our closing. And don't forget about the cart donation, especially if you want to see Ryan cut that man bun. Okay, yeah, if you're still thinking and want to leave it on the table afterwards, we'll do one more pass. So I thank you for that. So with that, if we could, we'll close with our four-way test. And I don't know, can you guys bring that up? Okay. If you'll rise, please. For all the things we say, think, say, or do, is it the truth?
Is it fair to all?
Concerned? Will it
Will
build
build goodwill
goodwill
and
and better friendships? Will it be
will be
beneficial?
beneficial to all?
And again, I thank you for your participation and being active with us.